G'day you beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to look at Shinbi, we're going to look at her stats and scaling and the build that I like to use, which is extremely simple but effective. So if you do go on to like this video, please smash that like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and subscribe for more Paragon content. With that said, let's get going. Okay guys, starting off as we normally do, looking at stats. She's an Assassin Burst ganker, elusive sieger. Not sure if she's the greatest ganker, she doesn't have any CC. 2 for basic attack, 9 for ability attack, durability is a 3, and her mobility is an 8. Okay, she has an extreme difficulty, and that is definitely true. You can absolutely fail with her, or you can shine during a match. Looking at her actual statistics, she starts off with 500 health, gains 67.43 to end up at 1444, which is quite high for a assassin. She has a little bit more base health and gets more per level than someone like Kalari, but she has less health regen. She starts at 1.2, gains 0.2 per level and ends up at 4. She has really good mana, starts up at 280, gets 68 and ends up at 1232, so she has a caster's mana pool. Her mana regen starts at 1.3 and ends up at 5.08, and her armor is an 8 at base and ends up at 22. As per usual, same ability armor as everyone else, starts at 20 and ends up at 30.5. Okay, starting off with her basic attack, melee based attack dealing basic attack damage, starts at 53, gains 1.6 per level, which is quite good. She has a standard sort of 1.2 cooldown, and her power scaling is 0.5, which is really bad. So you're only getting 50 damage per every 100 power that you're putting on. So at the end of your build, if you're running 300 power, you're only going to have an extra 150 damage on top of your basic damage. There is no cleave rating here. I forgot to actually check if she does cleave. I believe that this just hasn't been worked out yet. Where I get the information from, they haven't done this stat. Moving on. Okay, so moving on, we have Line Tempo, her first ability, which is her square or Q. Spirit Wolf is summoned and runs out in a straight line, passing through minions and dealing damage. The Wolf explodes on contact with an enemy hero. As far as damage goes, it starts off doing 42 and ends up at 131.4. The mana cost starts at 40 and ends up at 52, so it is quite cheap. Cooldown is 2 seconds, which is ridiculous. The range is 1500 units, so it's just inside a ranger's basic attack range, which is 1600, and the scaling is 0.525, which is really bad. For every 100 power that you put on, you'll get an extra 52.5 damage, but considering that you get this every 2 seconds, it's still pretty huge, and it goes a long way towards building your stacks, which will go into your ultimate. Alright, moving on to her circle or her E, circle rhythm. Shinbi summons 4 spirit wolves that circle her for 4 seconds, dealing damage and healing Shinbi for each hit. The ability damage is 30 and it ends up at 84 per second. The mana cost starts at 100 and ends up at 160. Her heal per second starts at 20 and ends up at 65. It also heals you for 20% of your full power. And the ability damage scaling is 0.1875, so it's really bad power scaling, but you might as well just stack that damage on. Cooldown is 16 seconds. It's actually a really good heal, taking into account the fact that the ability damage scaling is pretty pathetic. It still heals quite well, and it is extremely good for applying stacks. This is the main thing that I actually use it for. So I will actually poke them with my square, I will hit this, and then use this next ability to grab a couple of extra stacks as well, on my way to 8 stacks. The next ability is Rushing Beat. Shinbi dashes forward, passing through enemies and dealing damage. She can also re-trigger quickly after to dash again. So this is a really good ability. It starts off doing 55 damage per hit and ends up at 160. The mana cost stays at 80 the whole way through the game. The cooldown is 14 and it has really good damage scaling of 0.7, so you'll get 70 damage per every 100 power. So as I said, I will use my long range poke and activate my circle, rush through, get a hit, turn around, rush through again, get another long range poke, and you're doing well on your stacks by this point. As far as a getaway, it is ridiculously good because you're actually able to dash in one direction then another direction. So there are so many different ways you can use this ability. It is a really, really good getaway. Her ultimate is called All Kill. Has a passive. All of Shinbi's abilities apply 1 Spirit Wolf stack per hit to enemy heroes, building up to 8 stacks. When activated, a pack of Spirit Wolves attack the closest target with the highest number of wolf stacks, sending 1 wolf per stack. You will know which one it is because they will have a spotlight above their head. The ability damage starts at 46.875 and ends up at 74.375, has a flat mana cost of 100, the cooldown starts at 90 seconds and ends up at 60 seconds, which is huge. The ability damage scaling is only 0.328125, so it's not that great, but you can end up at a point where, especially in this build, where you're doing almost 175 damage per stack. And considering what I just said about being able to get your stacks up really quick using your other abilities, it's actually quite huge. Every 60 seconds, if you just rush in, use a bunch of abilities, and use your ultimate, you will almost be guaranteed a kill. You can do so much damage so quickly, and that is what makes her, in the right hands, absolutely disgusting. But from there, we'll move on to my build for her, which is extremely simple and just based around doing as much damage off of stacks as humanly possible. So, I've decided to start running the Paragon deck builder for my videos, so that I at least get as much use out of it as possible, because they went through a lot of effort to do it, so let's use it. So as you can see, the deck is called Shi-No-bi. 40 or 40 cards, 82 total CP in the build. Okay, so to start off with, we have Archmage. As I've stated, she doesn't really have the greatest basic attack, so we want to get those minions doing as much as possible, and we're probably going to be chasing down kills, so we'll get the minions to do all that for us. I'll start with a healer token and a cast token. I also take a separate cast token just in case. My ward, as per usual, is a 12-point ward, 3-point upgrades on that. Then if we take a look, we have a Solaris Reactor as an early game card. Okay, so that has 3 minor strikes or casts on it. And then we have over here as well, we have 3 burst engines as 6-point cards. Now it's up to you when you get to late game which one of these you want to keep, because you're going to be keeping one of them obviously. You can keep the burst engine if you want, but it's the difference of 6 mana regen, so I tend to get rid of the burst engine and get rid of the Solaris Reactor and keep the burst engine. Okay, so the full build itself consists of a Brawler's Ward with 3 major strikes, 2 Solaris Reactors as 9-point cards, both with 2-point strikes and a 2-point spark. Okay, and then we have, that's the same ones, and then we have 2 12-point burst engines, 3-point upgrades on those, and like I said, you're keeping one of those 6-point cards. So if we go to the test build section, okay, so you start off, you'll be taking your heal token and your cast token. My recommendation is that you next take your Brawler's Ward, okay, and then the next thing that I would actually take is my Solaris Reactor and fully upgrade it. I would then go through and take my burst engines and fully upgrade them, all of these, and then we move on to the meat of the build. Actually, no we don't, because we've still got 1 6-point burst engine, you silly bugger. Okay, so then we have our Brawler's Ward, which can be upgraded. We actually have a full slot of cards. So what I tend to do is, when I end up with 7 points or even 8 points, I will come back and I will remove the cast token and healer token, and I will take one of my Solaris Reactors, and then from there you're going to get your other Solaris Reactor and fully upgrade that, and then hang on. Okay guys, so I thought I would try something a little bit different for the build this time. I thought we use the deck builder and see how it actually works. So this way I can actually show you exactly what I do. Normally I will grab my healer token and I will slot it in over there. I will grab a cast token and I'll slot it in over here for my starting cards. From then I will come back with however many points I've got, at least 3, and grab my Brawler's Ward, which actually I do not put there. I put on my right D-pad, but it doesn't want to let me do that, but that's fine. Whatever you want to do, game. I will then try to come back with as many points as possible, but at least 6, so that I can get my 6-point Solaris Reactor. From there I have 3 more 6-point cards in my burst engines, so I will, as I can, come back and max those out. And then we have all of our early game cards. We have a full stack on here. I will normally come back with 6 points, and I'll actually get rid of my cast token. Sorry, I'll get rid of my cast token and my healer token, and I'll grab my Solaris Reactor, which has 2 strikes and a spark. Okay. And this didn't want to actually go on, or did I not click on it? So at this point, once I oh, I didn't actually even put that on. So at this point, I will have gotten my healer token and my cast token, slotted my ward, gone for 4 6-point cards, not the way that I actually just showed you then. And then I will go for my 9-point Solaris Reactor. Okay, and then at any chance that I get, I will come back and I will take this Solaris Reactor off and change it for this Solaris Reactor, which has once again 2 strikes, or casts, and a spark. Okay, and then from there it's just upgrading our ward, which, considering we already have a full build on here, I will just upgrade that, and then I will actually come in and I will replace 2 of my burst engines with my stronger ones. So as you can see, we hit 60 CP, level 15, we're doing 300, we have 306 power, we have an extra 30 mana, which is minimal, and we are doing, we have 9 mana regen, which personally I think is quite good. So as I stated with the numbers that I told you before, with this build, you are hitting really dirty numbers. You'll be able to pretty much kill someone off of a 4 stack the majority of the time, as long as they're not running ability pen, and it serves me pretty well. It's the unfortunate thing at the moment that the current card system and the way that heroes are, that you're pretty much better off to just go for damage all of the time. Okay, so the only thing that I would sort of ever do, if we just sort of get rid of this cast token so that I can add a card, the only thing that I would probably try to do different, or consider doing different, is if maybe you wanted to get some ability pen, which for some reason I'm having a moment and can't see. You can go for a Magna Lens. That will give you a little bit of mana regen, so it'll replace what you're losing off of a burst engine. It'll give you 2 ability pen straight up, and it'll give you 12 power, so I would probably stack the pen on top of that. But I feel like we're probably better off to actually go for the power, so that's why I do so. If we take that off, the only other thing that I would probably suggest is going for a Tempered Plate as a 10-point card with just health on it, with a 3-point health and 2 2-point healths. But apart from that, the only other cards that I can really see working with her is Mind Flow, but then again, that's only really for your ultimate, to get your ultimate back quicker. You could perhaps run a little bit of different armor on there that comes with damage, or Hunter's Guile, okay, which I would stack with power, not health. But that's completely up to you. I mean, if you take Hunter's Guile and it's part of your main build, it's not one of your, if it's not replacing one of your early game cards, and it has to be in your build, and you don't have an Aurora or a Steel or someone with really good CC that's, you know, worthwhile using it on, it's kind of a throwaway card because it doesn't have a fully upgraded bonus, so you're actually missing out on a little bit of power. And I feel like with her really piss poor scaling, you kind of need that in there. So that is the build that I use, guys. I hope you like it. I know it's really simple, but like I said, this is the problem with the game at the moment. Whether you're running a ranger, a caster, a fighter, just pretty much just stacking damage and having characters with CC on your team is the best way to go 99% of the time. But that's it, guys. I hope you did like it. If you do like it, smash that like button. If you'd like to leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Leave me any suggestions if you have been playing it, because as I said, I have not really had a chance to play her because of hashtag QDodge week. Let me know what you think of her. Let me know if you have any suggestions or any tips. Subscribe if you are not already. But as per usual, guys, thank you so much for watching. I love you.